With 2 flat tires and the vehicle being hung up on a log, we were forced to abandon it in the middle of the woods with a hurricane approaching. Happy Saturday, everyone, and welcome to Story Saturday. Today, I thought I would share with you guys this cautionary tale about off-roading in the woods with a hurricane approaching by yourself. So, to get this story started, this happened a few years ago when Hurricane Irene made landfall up in Massachusetts. About 2 days before the storm was set to hit this area, a buddy and myself decided to go off-roading, and I wanted to show him a spot that I used to bring my Jeep all the time. A short 25-minute drive away from home, and we arrived at the location. We made our way into the woods, started making our way down a trail, and there was this massive tree that was blocking us. We didn't have a chainsaw, we didn't have an axe, a hatchet, a saw, anything like that, so we got out of the Jeep and tried to move this tree branch out of the way, but that thing was solid. It was not being moved. It was at this point my buddy decided to use his Jeep as a kind of battering ram to see if he could break the tree branch in half to continue down the trail. By some strange way of luck, he was able to roll over this tree branch, and we were able to continue our way down this path until we ran into another tree that had fallen over. This thing was like 3 times the size of the last one that we had just crossed. There was no way we were getting through here, so we had to do a 12-point turn on a very, very narrow dirt trail. We had spent so long trying to get around this tree the first time that we had lost a couple hours that we could have been off-roading, and it was starting to get to the point where sunset was getting close. So, making our way back up the trail, we arrived at the tree that he had driven over before, but when he had gone over it the first time, we kind of nudged it a little bit, so it was even more in our way this time. In a rush, trying to get out of there, he attempted to drive over the tree branch again, and it got lodged up on the top corner of his fender. Backing up, it bent the fender a little bit. He tried to go over the tree again, and the inside of the tire wall got punctured by one of the branches. It was at this point the Jeep slid a little bit, and the tire bead that was on the rim kind of nudged itself off, and he lost all the air in the other tire. At this point, it was just time to give up. We had no other options. We tried calling every single person we knew that either had a lifted Jeep or a lifted truck, something with bigger tires that would have been able to get out there to bring 2 spare tires to put them on this vehicle. There was just nobody that was around, nobody that could make their way out of there, so me and my buddy had to hike all the way through the trail back out to the main road. Luckily, I was able to get a hold of somebody that came and picked us up. So there the Jeep sat in the woods overnight with a hurricane approaching, and at some point I was able to get a hold of a buddy that I went to elementary school with who also happened to grow up in the same general area as me, who also had a lifted Jeep with spare tires. This was just a home run all around. And with a lot of convincing, I was able to get him to give me and my buddy who had left his Jeep in the woods a ride to the Jeep with 2 of his spare tires to replace them on the vehicle and help us get it out of there before the hurricane hit. So there the 3 of us go off into the woods. We fix the Jeep, we get it up and going, we get it out of the woods. They exchange thank yous, everything like that, and the 2 tires that were on my buddy's Jeep were supposed to go back to the guy that we borrowed